So, hello and welcome back to another week exploring the Eastern Kingdoms. This time we are back with Beryl yet again because we are back in another Alliance controlled area. We're going to explore Dun Morogh, which is both the dwarf and gnome starting areas. So we'll probably maybe get a little bit of a look at maybe both of their opening cutscenes. But before we actually jump in, I want to take you back to the wetlands to show you two new things that I discovered while just kind of bumbling around this week. So without any further ado, let's start. Alright, so like I said, we are back with Beryl, and actually the first thing I want to show you is back here on the dwarven farm. I was just kind of flying around on my warlock character, mostly because of water breathing, and I was just trying to look around and see if there was anything in the lakes that I had missed, because so much cool stuff is usually underwater. But up here on the dwarven farm, right on the bank, is a mystery. And that mystery is this couple right here. They are named NPCs. We have Cartanus and Renaday. It's a just utterly random pair of night elves. I googled it, I looked around, I cannot find out anything about them lore-wise. I have no idea why they are up here sitting in the middle of a dwarven farm, but I figured anybody that watches this video in the future, if you know anything, please let me know. I'm really curious why this area that really is only accessible by flying, I mean, A, why it's here in the first place, but B, why is there a night elf couple just sitting up here? I am genuinely curious. And the other thing that I found, which I thought was kind of cool, mostly because I have a good friend that I played WoW with for a long time, and they pretty much, I think, only play on private servers now, because on the private server that they're playing with, you can actually make player housing. And honestly, that's very attractive, but at the same time, I just don't have the room to add yet another game onto my PC. So, but they were so taken by Beryl's Lake that she found right here, and how I said it was the perfect spot to put a house, that on their private server they actually built a perfect little house right over, I think it's over, right over here under this tree. And it's very, very pretty. And it is a temptation because it kind of looks like their private server is a combination of World of Warcraft meets The Sims, which is really cool. But like I said, I was running around with my warlock, and I happened to find at the bottom of Beryl's Lake, if we can just get down there and get rid of that green, somebody crashed an airplane. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah, that was the second interesting thing that I found that we're going to put as an addendum to the wetlands. Now, of course, Beryl can't stay down here and poke around in it for too long because she does not have water breathing. But I thought that was pretty interesting. So, anyway, let's head to Dun Morogh. Now, one last little thing actually before we leave the wetlands. I brought over a hunter character of mine, and I cast Eagle Eye through there, and I didn't really see anything, so I still don't know where this gate in the wetlands up at the Dwarven Farms is actually supposed to go. But if we go up and over the mountains, heading into Dun Morogh, which that technically is in Dun Morogh, we do end up right here at the Ironforge Airfield. So this area, it used to be really inaccessible from what I understand, Now there is some questing here, and I'm pretty sure back in Cataclysm I might have done some questing here because I do have the Gnomergon Pride toy that can turn any character into a gnome for a little while, but I don't really remember anything about the quests there. I do know that there are some more quests that are still in this area. You can fight the Dark Iron Dwarves, which are a threat, and it's just generally kind of a lot of fun. Now, like I said, this is sort of my thing that I'm really into is trying to find all of the fun little secrets. It's just kind of my thing. So, I mean, we'll touch on a few of the normal areas. Like up here, you have the Northgate Pass, which will take you through into the wetlands, and the station that's over here. I think that there is a campground that's over here where a bear attacked some stuff, or is that in a different area? It might be a different area. You know, there's Chillbreeze Valley, there's all sorts of cool stuff. If you do the fishing and cooking dailies in Ironforge, you will get a cooking quest that has you smearing yourself with all sorts of disgusting stuff and jumping into this lake to get covered in crayfish. But, I mean, not too much super interesting to me as somebody who's always looking for a house. I mean, there are some good little places that you could claim as your own around here, but nothing as good as Kurthaven. Sorry about that. The cat is scratching on their scratchy pad behind me. But, I mean, there are a lot of really fun quests and things in this area. You can go here to Golbar Quarry, help them take it back from the trogs that are here. Because ever since the Cataclysm, the trog threat has become much, much greater. But what I did want to show are two fun little things, and also, like I said, the starter cutscenes for both the dwarf and the gnomish starting area. But before I do any of that, I did want to show this interesting thing that I found, again, when I was on my warlock, because I was swimming along seeing if there was anything in the water along the edge of the zone. And I didn't find anything in the water, but I did find another airplane. This is another gnomish airplane. In fact, it matches the planes that are in Gnomergon. But unlike most airplanes that you find in World of Warcraft, this one's intact. It has not been crashed. It's right up here where Searing Gorge and Dun Morogh meet, and it looks like a gnomish campsite, maybe? Still not sure about that. I have found nothing online about it at all. So I thought that that was another really interesting thing. Another fun little thing, if I can find it, and I think I can. I just have to go up above New Tinkertown, which is the gnomish starting area. And also I did hear, but I have not ever heard it myself. Maybe we'll land and listen. But I did hear a rumor online that there is a valley up here where there's a creepy sound that is often heard. So I thought maybe we'd run up here and see if we can hear it. I have no guarantees on even hearing it. It was just something I found on Wikipedia. Evidently, some sort of a noise. Not hearing anything other than the music. Evidently, it's supposed to sound like a blood-chilling howl. I think I might have been trolled, but hey, you know what? It's always fun to check stuff out, even if you don't always get to hear it or see it. Alright, so we're going to go along. I'm still trying to be quiet. And show off this, which I honestly had never come across myself. In fact, if it wasn't for another friend of mine who plays WoW, and then Googling it, I never would have known about this. And that is this campsite right down here. Now, if you look around this campsite, I think this is the right one. Oh, please let this be the right one. I don't think this is the right one. Or if it is. Nope. Oh, well, that's cool. Alright, well, I found yet another abandoned campsite. It's always exciting. But not the one I was looking for. There's an abandoned campsite that has a bit of an issue up here above Tinkertown. And we're going to run around till we find it. Because I saw it just this morning. So, this is where I wish I had that tom-tom. It would be really handy. Alright. Are we above New Tinkertown yet? Almost. Now the question is this... Ah, this is it. Okay. So, I'll pull up my map so you can take a look at it. Let me get it centered a little bit. Alright. If you see right here on the map, in the area I am, we are where somebody is having an issue. So let me remove that, hopefully. I am the worst of YouTubers. Transition back. As you see, we have a couple of bears. One of them's halfway up the tree. And over here, you've got yet another bear. And some really cute babies. Like, really, really cute baby bears here. So you've got a mama bear, a couple of baby bears, a couple more bears. But if you look up in the tree, you can meet, if we can get in close. Oh, the bear's trying to attack me, but that's fine. We have Jermaine Buckley, who says, "Stop drinking the last of our ale and help me off this blasted branch." And a little bit further up, we have Anton, who has decided that since the bears have chased him up a tree, that's fine. He's got plenty of ale. So I thought that was cute. And definitely all thanks to yet another good friend who found those and told me I should go see them when I was all excited about Newman's Landing, which I did a little bit of research on that too. And it's pretty interesting. Evidently, it got the name Newman's Landing because people think that it might be the very first place that new players spawn into if they're playing a human character. I don't know if that's true or not, and I also don't know if I am in the right spot to go visit Newman's Landing again. I think I am. But yeah, it's an interesting little thing, and evidently sometime, I think during Cataclysm, but they were removed before Legion, there used to actually be 3 goblins that were living at Newman's Landing. Obviously not the initial owners of the place, but there were 3 goblins that were living there. Also underneath the dock at Newman's Landing is a... I am totally in the wrong spot for Newman's Landing, but I'm going to just keep on babbling about it while we run there. The dock under Newman's Landing, there is a boat that has been also ruined under the dock, which I thought was kind of cool. Like I said, I spent a lot of time today just kind of running around with my warlock, seeing if there was anything really exciting in the water. Other than some really pretty stuff that's just off the edge of the fatigue zone, which is mostly just corals and things, there wasn't too much. But I did spend a few hours just kind of running around, just to see. That's how I find a lot of the cool stuff that I find in World of Warcraft, is just running around, trying to see what I can find. What I definitely have not found is Newman's Landing, because I managed to get myself lost and turned around. So if you... wait, is it right there? It is right there. Okay. I'm like, I'm all lost and turned around, but no, it's right here. So again, if you didn't see my Iron Forge video, this is Newman's Landing. It's not actually named that on your map, but again, if I pull up the map here, you can see right where I am, which is this cool little arrow right here in the corner. And you can find this spiffy little cottage just out there in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of dead bodies and a boat right under the dock. If we'll go in, we can go in and look down here. Nothing in the boat, just a nice little ruined boat. So that's about it as far as secrets, other than things that I'm sure everybody has seen, which is like the sledders on the backside of Iron Forge and stuff along those lines. All really cool stuff, but nothing that's really overly exciting. So I think what I'm going to do now is show you a couple of beginning zones. We'll see where we are first. Looks like we are in Coldridge Valley, which is where you begin your life as a dwarf. So, let's see what life is like if you begin as a dwarf. And here we go with a totally random new character.
Great change has come to the enduring halls of Ironforge. Obsessed with the workings of the Titans, the dwarves retrieved their creator's mystical tablets from the fabled city of Ulduar. Activating one such tablet, King Magni Bronzebeard fell prey to a terrible curse that fused his statue-like form into the diamond heart of Ironforge itself. To compound this tragedy, Magni's estranged daughter Moira arrived, claiming her father's throne for herself and for her infant dark iron son. To avert civil war, the dwarves created the Council of Three Hammers, an uneasy coalition that would share power equally amongst the clans. Now, with political upheaval rising within the kingdom and the great cataclysm ravaging the surrounding lands, the future of Ironforge falls to brave dwarves like you.
Alright, so as you can see, the dwarves have a lot of stuff to work out. But that is what you will start with if you are a dwarf character in World of Warcraft. It's kind of cool. Also kind of a lot of fun. So now, let's trot over here, over the river and through the woods, and just over into the next valley, basically, into the other starter zone for World of Warcraft, New Tinkertown, which, as you can see up ahead, is looking a little, they're looking a little more rough than the dwarven starter area. But, you know, hey, you gotta start somewhere. So here we have New Tinkertown and the gnomish starting area. This is the toxic airfield. And basically, in the gnomish area, you are just desperately trying to gain back Gnomergon and fight off the leper gnomes. So, let's see what their story is. And I just totally screwed that up again. So yeah, I am definitely the worst of all worst YouTubers. The bit without sound just a minute ago was me just babbling about the Dwarven starter area and how they have a lot of work to do, and then we overflew the Gnomish starter area. I probably made a few bad jokes about how toxic it looked, and now we are going to just jump in and check out the gnome story. Alright, so this is our randomized character, and let's see what the gnome starter area has to offer for us.
Given the recent political upheaval in Ironforge, the gnomes have suddenly found themselves unwelcomed guests within the city. Leveraging their ingenious technologies and unquenchable spirit for adventure, the gnomes have begun to reevaluate their role within Cosmodan. Under the inventive leadership of High Tinker Gelbin Mechatork, the gnomes now plan a daring campaign against the barbarous Trogs to retake their former capital of Gnomrigon. With the odds stacked against them, the gnomes are counting on brave heroes such as you to stand and be counted. Your people's greatest hour draws near.
Alright, well, now we know the gnomish starter zone, and it's interesting little story. We will be doing a dungeon run of Gnomergon next week. I think I finally won't get terribly lost when I attempt it. I'm really good at getting lost in the mega dungeons, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's pretty much all that's around the Ironforge Dun Morogh area. Now, if you happen to be a World of Warcraft player, I think for about the next week, actually only for the next couple of days, you can go to Brewfest, which is going on right now, and then the lead up to World of Warcraft's Halloween event, which will be coming up very soon, and I am looking forward to. But if you are in retail WoW right now, Brewfest is going on. There's a lot of fun activities to do. And I think our last stop is going to be right here in Karanos, which is kind of the main questing hub of all new gnomish and dwarf characters. And also something that a lot of people might not know, in fact I didn't know for the longest time, is if you go into the inn, there's actually 3 little apartments downstairs. Which I always wondered how you could have an inn without having rooms at the inn, but there are. So if you go down here, you can go down to this first little apartment, which is actually really pretty. You can also go back up, turn and go into this little apartment, kind of a duplicate of the first one. Or the final apartment, which is a single, and all downstairs, which makes sense for the dwarves. They seem to really like building in the basement. So that's about it. If you know anything about the night elf couple that's up in the wetlands, please let me know, because I am genuinely curious and I can't find anything online about them. Also, if you know anything at all about the that airplane that's just sitting up there near Searing Gorge. I'm very curious about that too. But other than that, I will see you next week as we try not to get lost in Gnomes New Tinkertown. Have a good one.